So let's talk about some ways that we can counteract 5G, that we can boost our immune system, stay healthy, and then even aside from the pandemic that's happening and the 5G that's blanketing the earth, we can talk a little bit about radiation and the sequence of flus that have broken out that are in line with different forms of technology and radiation that have been launched, and 5G being the strongest in history, and now this whole global vaccine coincidentally coming out at the same time, and then kind of what we can do to combat that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So solutions. We have something called C60. I make 3 different forms of C60 at Now Alchemy. One of them is an oil. It's the same way that they use it in a 2012 body study that doubled the lifespan of mice, that made mice immune to lethal amounts of radiation. And then I have a liposomal form, which I literally just finished the formulation on today. The new liposomal C60. Because you didn't know I had liposomal C60, did you?
No, I didn't. But let's tell everybody. Let's tell them about liposomal delivery methods, why that is important, and also let's tell them a little bit more about what C60 is.
Sure. So C60, first of all, is a carbon compound. It's 60 carbon atoms bonded together in hexagonal forms in the shape of a soccer ball that absorbs free radicals, which are oxidative species that cause oxidation to the body, destroy cells, destroy our DNA, cause aging. It absorbs those atoms and removes them from the body at a rate of about 100 times as much as what you would know of as an antioxidant. So an antioxidant can absorb a free radical, neutralize it. A carbon-60 molecule can absorb 100 per molecule and neutralize. So it works 100 times faster than an antioxidant, which is why when this woman came to me sick, I gave her Now Alchemy C60, and within 36 hours, she was better.
Wow. Wow.
And what liposomal encapsulation is encapsulating something in a liposomal membrane, which is half of a fat molecule, so that it absorbs into your bloodstream completely. The hydrophilic end is open and the hydrophobic end is facing the molecule, so it absorbs into your bloodstream, absorbs into your cell sites, and rather than getting about 10% of it, which is normal for fat-soluble substances, C60 is fat-soluble, CBD is fat-soluble, a lot of antioxidants like vitamin E and vitamin A are fat-soluble. So when you liposomal these things, it makes them about 100 times as absorptive instead of about 10 times as absorptive. You're not wasting your health, you're not wasting time, and you're not wasting your money.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
beautiful. I do this in a natural way, which is one of the cool things about Now Alchemy. Everything's organic. There's a lot of companies out there that are selling liposomal CBD or liposomal vitamin C, and soon there will probably be liposomal C60s coming out. And they're using things like DMSO, polysorbate 80, which are toxic chemicals that the pharmaceutical company uses to lipomize. I don't do any of that stuff. I use only natural ingredients to achieve this.
Okay, good. And you're not really a fan of DMSO?
No, it's a cancer-causing substance.
Okay.
You know about DMSO?
I do know about DMSO.
You're not, I mean, would you be a fan of it?
Well, I've done a good amount of research on it. It's definitely been used in a lot of therapeutic context, but it's also extreme. You got to know what you're doing with it at the same time. So I haven't used DMSO. I've used MSM, which is a derivative of DMSO, for many years with great effects, but that's obviously it's an oxidized form. So it's a different compound altogether. I've heard a lot of positive things about DMSO, but I've also heard that it's an alchemical substance, and you gotta really know what you're doing with it. It's not advised to just go get a bottle and just rub that on your sore leg or something.
I know that they use DMSO for some topical applications.
Right. That's what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to it. I don't have any. I haven't really researched it being done internally.
Yeah, you don't want to swallow it, but it does absorb water. And so they use it to hydrate the skin in some topical creams and things like that. But because it's synthetic, I wouldn't want to swallow it. Even just intuitively, it's bad. It's not as bad as polysorbate 80, which isn't derived from anything natural whatsoever. And it's just this, like, it's kind of like methylphenidate. You know, it's sort of like derived to have characteristics of something that's natural, but it's not derived from the natural thing whatsoever. It's just made from adding synthetic chemicals to synthetic chemicals, you know?
Sure. Sure.
The methyl phenols, that's where like Adderall and Ritalin come from.
Mm. Mm.
Kind of off topic, but actually bringing it back onto the topic of now alchemy, Ormus is an amazing substitute for Ritalin and Adderall. Balances the left and right hemispheres of the brain, increases brain capacity, and it helps with focus. I have actually had people compare it to, I've had customers over the years say that the Ormus helps them more than Adderall, and they stopped using Adderall when they started using Ormus because of how it helps them with focus, but doesn't stimulate them or energize. It doesn't even energize them. It just keeps them focused. So they're able to sleep at night. You know, it's not a problem getting rest or anything, but that their focus is really keen with it.
Okay, that's yeah.
Being super conductive.
Yeah, the gold. So that's interesting. So the way that reads to me is that it's helping to reorganize scattered energy. So it's not a stimulant. It's not something to stimulate your energy system or your nervous system to give you kind of a buzz or what we associate as having focused energy, but it's actually reorganizing scattered energy. My feeling on lack of focus is, you might be literally wiped out and exhausted. That would be an extreme case, and yeah, you need to take care of yourself, rejuvenate, all that kind of thing. But in most cases, it's probably more so that people are just really scattered, right? And they just got way too much mental energy going on, may not be grounded in the body, whatever have you. And so that's why we go to the stimulants, we go to the caffeine, because we think that, that's going to get me to focus. But it doesn't really do that. And most of us find that out after a while. And then all of a sudden you're addicted to something that is actually harming you potentially, where something like this is actually just helping to kind of recenter your energy.
Yeah, and it's really the sugar. There's a lot of causes of ADHD and ADD.
Mm-hmm.
A lack of nutrition is one of them.
Yeah.
Sugar in the morning is another one. ADHD and ADD came on the rise when sugar cereals came on the scene. Did you notice that trend?
Not specifically, but I'm well aware. Sugar and then demineralization.
It was about 25 years ago. 25 to 30 years ago, when ADD and ADHD became really popular. And this was around the same time that Cocoa Puffs and all these sugar cereals were hitting the markets. Right. And so basically children were loading themselves up with sugar and pasteurized dairy, which kept them from being able to focus because their brain was going bonkers.
Right.
So then they put them on basically a polymer of methamphetamine to keep them like stuck. Because you know when you're so amped, you're stuck. Like if you've ever done a stimulant like MDMA or something like that was not in its most pure form, because some of the stuff out there is laced with cheaper things. Mm-hmm. Like if you've ever accidentally crossed paths with something like that, you know what it's like to be stuck in stimulation. So that's what these Adderall and ADD things are actually designed to do to people. So Ormus is something that, like you said, regathers scattered energy, balances the mind. And I mean that in a spiritual sense, not just the brain, not just a physical sense. The brain is literally balanced. It balances left and right hemispheres of the brain, but it balances people and allows them to just move forward with all of their energy, gathering their energy. People talk about soul fragmentation.
Yeah.
A lot of these terms are synonymous, and it really, I've had Qigong masters and things try my Ormus and tell me what it feels like. And what's pretty common is they feel the crown connecting with the earth, coming together in the center, and then this expansion, and then this like forward, like sort of progression energy, like this up and out, and then centered and out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
I know exactly what you mean.
So that's like soul. What is the term for fixing soul fragmentation?
I would probably like soul integration or
right. So Ormus helps with soul integration, balancing the left and right hemispheres of the brain, clearing the chakra meridians. I mean, I was obsessed with Ormus for 4 years. I didn't make anything but Ormus. I wouldn't touch anything but Ormus because I was so obsessed with it. The only thing that opened my mind to doing other things was CBD. And the full spectrum hemp extract. when I started taking Ormus, nothing had soothed my PTSD like anything else. I felt a sense of awareness and presence I had not, I don't even know if I ever felt in my life. And the only other time I felt something similar was the first time I tried full spectrum hemp extract. But it was different because what I felt with that was a sense of bliss. And so I wanted to keep taking it, but I was using a friend's company at the same time, a mutual friend of ours actually, and I had to use so much of it. I was going through like a bottle every 2 or 3 days, and the bottle was like $50. I was like, I gotta make this stuff. It's the only way I can live on it. So I started to make it, and it took me literally took me about 2 years to figure out how to naturally nano enhance full spectrum hemp extract. Amazing. My hemp extract, people rave about it. They love it. It's really good.
Okay, so you create all your formulas and you do real experimentations in a real certified lab. That's one thing I want to put out there and talk about. That's really important. You're not private labeling other people's products or just getting random assortments of ingredients or like things you find in like herbal supplements or even quote unquote superfood supplements or protein powders. A lot of this stuff is just kind of like randomly put together from different, they're private labeled. They're not done in-house. And that's one, I want you to kind of touch on that for everybody.
Absolutely, Ronnie, because I wouldn't see the point in, look, if I'm going to private label somebody else's product, I mean, I might as well just promote their product. Why am I going to go through all the work of building my own brand when I'm not even the one making it? If they're the one making it, I should just be like, this is a great product, which I do. Sometimes I promote other people's products that I don't make because I think it's great, you know? But I wanted to make things myself so that I could use the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted it to be effective all the time, not to have to use so many doses. And also I wanted to know it was organic. I wanted to make sure it wasn't oxidized. Especially like some of the DHAs and things like that out there I've tried and have been kind of rancid, you know, and like, I want to make sure things are done in a humane, clean way. I just done so many, I've done so much research on how a lot of supplements ingredients, they come from China. There's like heavy metals and feces and stuff like that, the ingredients. And I just wanted to know what I was taking. So I started making it myself. And if I wasn't making it myself, I would just promote somebody else's brand, right? Like, what's the point of buying something from someone else and then reselling it when you could just direct somebody to the source?
Right.
You know?
Right. And but that is what happens in the majority of the supplement industry, unfortunately.
Well, what they end up doing is just upcharging it. They just end up selling it for more expensive. So one of the things that I love to do, I offer a lot of discounts, a lot of giveaways. I get to make it accessible to people in that way because I'm making it myself. So I don't have like this whole, it's not a business. What I'm creating is a family, a movement, an organization, not just centered around products, but consciousness. Consciousness of balance and oneness and togetherness. So with one thing I like to say is now Alchemy balances everything, because we all know balance is everything. And now Alchemy formulas are formulated to balance everything. You know, so it's not just like a product, it's like a family where I don't let anybody work for my company, and especially the people working in my lab, I don't let anybody do that stuff unless they're using all the elixirs. Because they have to, in order to do a great job at conveying the message and this information, they really have to know what it's about. Like people can't come on board talking about products and things if they haven't used them themselves, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, that's just called integrity, right? And authenticity and transparency. That would be the golden standard. It's not the legal standard. There's no real regulatory body for integrity. But that would be the golden standard, I would say, for what you want to put in your body, and especially where you want to put your hard-earned money towards, because I've spent so much money on so many different supplements, foods, things I thought were good for me. And I found out later I was actually had an allergic reaction to it. It was upsetting my digestion. And just talking about simple foods, let alone supplements with isolated compounds that may or may not be delivered in a deliverable medium, like you're talking about with liposomal delivery methods, that may or may not have gone to the cell side, absorbed. Is this working? I don't know. They say it is, so maybe it's the placebo effect. All these different things, and eventually I started to develop a lot of empathy for other people. As a professional and a leader and a coach, I realized, you know what? I don't want to just send people on a wild goose chase here. We got to know what we're doing, and I got to know if I'm going to be sharing something with somebody, it's legitimate, and they also can get the information from that person or that company itself. They're not cutting corners or trying to hide anything. It's all out there in the open, and that's what I like about you and how you do your marketing. It's really just education. You're really just out there telling people what you're doing, how you're doing it, sharing your passion, your enthusiasm. And
I'm
that's
a medicine man. I don't have a brand. I'm just a medicine man that
right.
I don't have a brand. I have a really good friend of mine who I collaborate with, and I made a post a little while ago, and he called me upset saying this isn't on brand for you. Like, you need to take this more seriously. And I was just like, I don't have a brand. I'm me. This is me. If I have a brand, it is me. So how can you say something I'm doing is not on brand?
Right.
You know?
Right. And that's what I love about you, and just kind of the purity in which you do things. Let's segue into immunity and what people can do to develop a immune protection formula. Whether you are concerned about your immune system right now, or you want to just be preventative and create an invincible immune system and never have to worry about getting the coughs, the sniffles, a cold, a flu, or anything whatsoever. Let's talk about that with the time we have left. What would you, with your product line, what would you recommend as kind of like we talked about this before, kind of a first phase and second phase kind of approach?
So phase one would be the absolute necessities. These are the elixirs I use every day, non-negotiable, without fail, sometimes multiple times a day. And to be honest, sometimes I'll make a smoothie, I'll open a bottle, I'll pour the whole bottle in there, which is a lot. And I can't do that with the hemp or something like that because I will get loaded. But the requirements, the necessity to have everything that you absolutely need is the liposomal multivitamins. It's A, E, B complex, C, and they're in liposomal form. So they're 100% bioavailable. It's called Vitality. And what Vitality has is 100% of your daily required value per serving. So you just use the liposomal Vitality, and in terms of the multivitamins, you're good. And a lot of these multivitamins, they're antioxidants as well, like C, A, E. These aren't just vitamins, they're also antioxidants. So they do amazing things for your immune system. Like vitamin C, it also helps your body make glutathione, which is known as the king of antioxidants. And it does so many other things for collagen production and stuff like that. But you have the Vitality, and then you have the Ormus for the minerals. Absolutely requirement. We all need to have the minerals. If we're deficient in minerals, we're not going to be hydrated. If we're not hydrated, we're not going to function properly. We're not going to think right. If we're not thinking right, our whole body's going to go off balance. So you have to have the Vitality, liposomal vitamins, the Ormus minerals, and the carbon 60, the C60 for the radiation. I wouldn't normally say C60 is a requirement, something everybody should have, but now that 5G is out, C60 is a requirement. Just like vitamin C is something that everybody needs in their system, now with this new form of radiation, C60 is the future of antioxidants, the future of vitamins. It's something that is going to be at some point a table talk, what do they call it? Dinner table word. Everybody's going to know it. Everybody's going to need it. Now Alchemy C60 is, I don't like to sound too competitive, but as far as I know, it's the most reputable, trustworthy C60 in the world. And I know that because I'm working directly with the scientist with that product specifically that made the C60 for the body study in 2012. So I'm doing the liposoming and the nano enhancing myself, but the actual C60 particle is coming from the exact same study. So, and then the last part, it would be the hemp extract. The cannabinoid system is something that we all need to nourish on a daily basis. I get my hemp from a Native American tribe that grows it on sacred land in a biodynamic, organic fashion. They're mineralizing the soil. They actually put ormus in the soil. They're also putting probiotics in the soil. They use a 30,000 gallon drum to ferment the soil before they even use it on their lands. And then they're giving me hemp in exchange for nano enhanced product in return. So I'm able to keep the prices really low. I have 3,000 milligrams of full spectrum hemp extract per bottle is $99. And right now, for anybody who buys a bottle of Elysium, they get 2 bottles of full spectrum CBD oil, which has 3,000 milligrams of CBD extract in it for free. So, and this is important to me. Getting the hemp from them specifically, it's important. This is why I'm talking about sourcing the best. I'm getting the carbon 60 molecule from the best lab in the world when it comes to carbon 60. I'm getting the hemp plant from a sacred Native American tribe. I'm making the ormus myself from dead sea salts. Do you know what I mean? You see like the pattern of how everything is like, whatever I'm going from, I go as deep into the culture as I can go, and I source the absolute best, and then I enhance it in the lab.
Beautiful. I appreciate you saying all that. Let's distill all that back into the key products, just in case anyone's they're tuning in, they're vibing, but they're like, whoa, I just got caught up. What were the things he was talking about?
Vitality, C60, hemp extract, and ormus.
Okay.
Those 4 are the bare essentials.
Okay. Bare essentials, building the foundation for your health strategy, your health protocols. And those are amazing products. I've played with all of those in over many years. And C60 is relatively new, but I played with the bottle of that. It's great. I can't wait for the new one, the liposomal one.
Oh, it's so great. Let me see. I'm going to see if I have a bottle here, which it's either in my car or in my kitchen. Here we go. So this, do you remember what the C60 oil looked like? Mm-hmm. You saw it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the oil. So
because it had olive oil. Yeah,
this is the C60 oil, but my nano enhanced one's in my car right now.
Okay.
So it looks like, but it's, I am so happy with it. I spoke to the scientist, and he didn't even know if it would be possible, actually, for me to lipomize the C60.
Interesting.
And I thought the only way to find out is to try it, and it turned out perfectly.
Interesting.
So I was able to encapsulate the C60 in liposomal membranes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's definitely something we'll look forward to the upgraded version of that. Okay. Well, I mean, we dove into so many different areas. We started off this entire download kind of going a little bit more into perspectives around the whole malarkey going on with our shared experience on planet Earth right now, which is just whatever you want to call it. I personally call it the holy charade or the cosmic calamity. But ultimately, what I would say about all this is that I think the best is yet to come. We're talking about the whole Donald Trump clip and everything, and some people may have been turned off or whatever by it, but I want you to understand that nothing is as it seems. This is the most important thing I keep trying to get across to people in everything I'm doing on social media. That's my messaging. That's my intent. Nothing is as it seems. Do not get caught up in these articles that are taking everything out of context and using clickbait to drive your emotions. They're trying to get you to buy what they're selling, and what they're selling is poison. And they're non-denominational, meaning they don't care if you're right or left. They just want you to be upside down so you can't make informed decisions and logical, sensible decisions. One of which is, hey, don't wear a face mask by yourself in a car. That's not a sensible, logical type of decision. That's where we need to get back to I don't want to say rationalism as if the heart has nothing to do with it. I just mean being rational and sensible enough to see fact from fiction, but to stay connected to the body and the heart and your instinct. So we don't kind of get mind controlled or caught up in whatever the new thing is today, or the new thing is this week. Just know the best is yet to come. Prayer, intention, staying focused on our dharma, our goals. And that's why I like talking about this with you, because we can talk about that, but then we can also talk about how to optimize this biological vehicle, how to optimize our brain capacity, how to organize these scattered thoughts without stimulants or aberrant foods, but how to do it naturally, and how to do it in a way that really kind of, it prompts our own DNA evolution. It activates those codes inside of us that are going to be necessary for who we need to be on the other end of this whole thing.
Beautiful. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
Very well said, Ronnie.
Yep, right on. So the website is nowalchemy.com. If you use the code Human Potential, you'll get a nice little discount there. Feel free to reach out to Archer, especially on Instagram. Let him know that you heard about him. If you haven't heard about him, feel free to reach out to him with any questions, and their team, and they'd love to support you. And do you have anything else you want to share?
I do. So as Ronnie said, I have Archer Love on Instagram, and on that page, I'm sharing this information daily, not just about Now Alchemy and the remedies and the elixirs, but also about what's going on with the world. I'm doing my own research on a daily basis, discovering new doctors who are stepping out and blowing the whistle on what's really happening behind the scenes. And I'm always sharing this stuff. So if you guys are interested in truth, and some of the information that is frequently being removed from YouTube, being removed from the internet because they don't want you to see it, I'm always posting that sort of stuff. So follow me on Instagram at Archer Love, just to stay on top of things and ahead of the game. And then my company page is Now Alchemy on Instagram. My customer support is support@nowalchemy.com. If you have any questions about how to use the products, or with the or shipping or anything like that.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks so much for joining me once again. Amazing download, epic conversation, and everyone out there, hope you enjoyed. And again, nowalchemy.com, Human Potential, and this is for your human potential, no joke about it. That's what we're here to do. That's what you are committed to. That's what I'm committed to. That's why we vibe and have been close friends over all these years, and many more years to come, God willing. So, all right. Yeah. Absolute pleasure.
All right. Peace, brother. Goodbye, everybody.